Between the reeds I saw their bodies gleam, who cool no mortal fever in the stream, crying to the woods the rage of their desire, and their bright hair went down in jeweled fire, where crystal broke and dazzled shudderingly, where roses drink the sun's scent and our light play, amid tumbled flowers shall match the death of day.
The flute of Debussy's Faun is like a kind of magic carpet, taking us to new lands. Just as the French Impressionist painters had given the world a new image of colour, shape and texture, just as Mallarmé's poems had used words for their sound and their shape as much as their meaning, so Debussy moves us into a world where light and flexibility is everything. Whereas so much German and Austrian music had been to do with finding order and form and rules, Debussy was searching for a music and an art without feet. So, texture became important, moment for moment. Form was a matter of what was heard. And above all, we were looking at a sense of colour. There's a danger when we talk about Impressionism of all kinds, that we think of something without bones, without muscles, entirely without form. Turner's paintings, which for me are in a way the soul of Impressionism, take a moment of light miraculously and distill it. But in doing that, he's using thousands of little constituent parts with enormous calculation, enormous care, which gives it unity. It's not only music that's reinvented, it's the whole palette of the orchestra. And if the palette of the Austrian and German composers was like a dark oil painting, here we're talking watercolor, or perhaps some kind of painting not yet invented. L'après-midi is so well known now, it's so much an icon of music and art that we tend to forget how new it sounded when it was written. Indeed, people at first thought they were hearing the orchestra tune up. The horns, which were so much a part of the German fixation with hunting and forests, are no longer a blanket which covers. They're somehow a sound which warms and heats and gives us reds and oranges rather than browns. The woodwinds are allowed to do different things. They tend to make shapes which aren't decoration, because in this, decoration becomes substance. The strings become some kind of wash of background, rather like in a watercolor. Very detailed, but not always clear to the ear or eye. The use of little flecks of color, the use of harps, which don't impinge themselves on your consciousness. All this is completely new. The idea that colour could be a form in itself must have seemed, at the very least, slightly sinful, and at the worst, desperately revolutionary.